Also, congrats.
All right, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to another GYLS Momentum session. This week we have Glennon for her part two. Part one, we were talking about embracing the unexpected, and the unexpected happened. The Wi-Fi kind of crashed,
Yeah,
so she's
we
gonna.
literally did embrace the unexpected. I swear to God, we did not actually plan it that way. It just happened that way, and it was great. So,
This happen. So here she is to give us the scoop on the rest of it. So take it away.
okay. One little thing. Congrats to you, Sergio, for being its team leader. Right? That's
Yep.
awesome. So, congrats for that. Thank you guys for tuning in now or watching later. If I'm looking over this way, I've got notes because, kind of did get cut off last time, so I'm trying to figure out where we left off. Um, okay, just to kind of finish off a little bit from the last one because it did get cut off. I know I was talking about like hindrances and stuff and how, you can't really plan out everything because, the unexpected, it can happen. It's probably gonna happen. So you just with me, I try to organize every little minuscule detail, um, which doesn't always work in my favor. I will definitely admit that. It just if it doesn't work and there is a message, I will leave it be. um, it planning over planning, it's just as bad as under planning. It's if you overplan and it doesn't happen, things don't, wow, brilliant. Things don't happen exactly right. You're gonna underplan. There's always going to be that moment of, oh, well, I could have planned more. So this the thing is just don't overplan. It's good to have a plan and it's good to want things to be organized and say, I want to hit this goal by this certain date. And then, the goal that it's then after that by a certain date. But if that doesn't come through, you cannot be hard on yourself about it. It's so easy to, say things like, oh, I could be doing better or I could be working harder. And maybe for this particular thing, you can. Maybe you're exactly where you need to be for whatever particular goal or item you're working on in your life, which leads into the actual part two of where it is there, part two of this, which is hmm, reading my own handwriting is just great. Okay, it's basically about embracing the concept of we are enough. And there's this really great quote that I love. It's, I am at heart a total musical theater geek. So this performer is a musical theater performer. So if you don't know her, I'm not surprised because, but basically the quote is by this really awesome performer called Sierra Baguez. And the quote is, we, you are enough. You are so enough. It is unbelievable how enough you are. And it's just basically, you are where you need to be at this point in life. You have everything you need to get to that point. And you just have to trust that everything is where it needs to be and you are where you need to be as a person. And I think that's just so incredibly important to remember. Glancing over notes.
I'm pretty sure Mary, if she's watching, would know who Sierra Boggess is. She was
Oh
competing
yeah,
in the Phantom.
I mentioned it at like the alumni briefing that we had before all the ambassadors came, and she turned around and was like, "Oh yeah!" So yeah, she probably does. And Mary, that lovely little voice crack, all for you, hun. um, and okay, obviously, it basically is an affirmation. So I mean, repeat it as you want if needed. I just think for me, like if I just have it like hanging up somewhere or I have like this entire photo album on my phone that is just like all these little positive affirmations. It's called Lovely Thoughts because it gets me in a really positive place. So I love looking at things like that. That if I'm not having the best day, or maybe like again musical theater type thing, if a voice lesson didn't go well, or maybe if volunteering was hard a certain day, just looking at that and going, okay, yeah, things might kind of suck right now, but just persevere and keep heading on. I know Marlon actually posted something. It was basically like if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but don't stop moving towards your goal. I'm probably paraphrasing that a lot, but it's kind of the same concept. It's that, get to where you need to be and, just be you, be uncompromisingly yourself, and things may work out slowly, in that, but if you just present the best you absolutely can, that's what matters. Maybe things going slowly is how they're meant to be. And as someone with zero, they understand getting frustrated by things not progressing quickly enough or not in the exact way that you want, but you can't stop moving towards the goal, and you can't stop being yourself. That's just the biggest thing, is you just remembering, you are enough. I mean, how inspiring can that be to just, if you're having a bad day, think and go, you know what? I'm good enough as I am. I don't, I can be better and I will try to be better, but ultimately, as a person and with what I want to do, I am more than enough. And because I am the only me there's going to be. And that's the basic gist of it. You can't go and try to be, someone else. I'm the only Glennon. Sergio's the only Sergio. As mentioned, Mary, she's the only Mary. So we can only bring what we have to the table, because that perspective that we have is, our experiences, they're totally unique to us. So, and we have to remember that, because yeah, we're all similar. We're all living, breathing people. And I mean, even more so, we've all gone to GYLS, or we're all going to GYLS again. But I mean, the reason that GYLS wants, people back is because we are all unique. We can offer so many different insights to, people younger than, people not younger than us, but, people who are, ambassadors, alumni, even at our peer level, maybe even above our peer level, because we all operate on a different level, and we all love bringing our best self to the table. And I mean, if anything's instilled that, it's definitely GYLS. I mean, musical theater aside, this quote fits in so perfectly with, what GYLS presents and what it represents, and that, you as yourself, that's perfect. And okay, we're not going to use the phrase perfect, because, what is perfect? So I'm not. No one is. But it's basically just, bringing your absolute best self and just being you. Because, I mean, who else is going to be you if you're not, honestly? That's that's the only thing I can say. No one else is going to do you, because you're the only you that exists. And the amount of times I have just said you, dang. So, not sure where I can go with this more, in which case this is going to be a very incredibly short video. So actually, if anyone has questions and they want to post them on the different links, I will try and answer them right now. Well, I think up more things to say, so.
I have a question. So you talked about staying committed to the goal, and basically, if you can't walk, or if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. There's a nice quote. I forget who says it. I don't know if anyone made it up, but it's, you got to stay committed to the outcome, but flexible in the approach. So I was wondering if maybe
Yeah.
you had like a story, some sort of actual thing that happened to you where you had an outcome and you had to be flexible in your approach to achieve it. You didn't do the action steps exactly how you wanted, but you still ended up getting the goal. If maybe you can think of a story. I know it's way on the spot.
No, it's like something as so by the week. I mean, I don't know how broad of a story you want. I mean, I guess for me, something like that would be I take voice lessons once or twice a week. So it's, realizing that, hey, it's not always going to be, every single week isn't going to be the absolute, best it can be, or the most on my game. Even if I, do the same steps, it's going to have a totally different outcome week by week. And it's just going, okay, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best, but at least I'm still progressing type thing. And I guess on a bigger scale, oh God, brain out the window. um, right now I'm in community college because I took a semester off, and I applied to a few colleges, didn't get in, so that was kind of like oh god, have to readjust and figure out, did the steps I was supposed to, and it was just kind of okay, can't be sad about it. What do I do now? So I guess on the bigger spectrum of thing, on like an education spectrum of things versus like singular twice weekly lessons, there's that. So I've had to readjust a bit. It still kind of sucks that things didn't turn out the way they are, but ultimately, it's given me a chance to, because I was totally focused on being a lit major when I did apply, and now I have the chance to go. Hey, why not apply and do something musical theater based? I have that option now. So even if things didn't turn out how they wanted, I think they might have actually turned out better because it's allowing me to figure out. It's allowing me to kind of go for both goals that I want. So.
Awesome. Ariana actually had a question.
Hmm.
She said,
Is it up here?
yeah, she said, how do
No.
you not beat yourself up if things don't go as planned? Do you just have a one-on-one talk with yourself and have an aha moment? What do you do?
Oh no. Well, it depends. I think it depends on how big the what I wanted to happen was. Like I mean, there's gonna be things that are really big, Ariana, that you're probably gonna cry for a little while, or you're gonna be really upset for a little while, but you can't stay in that. I mean, like yeah, cry, get all of that angst and just upset out of your system. You're gonna cry. It's probably gonna happen at some point. That's something big's gonna happen, and you're gonna be upset. And it's essentially crying sometimes is a part of life, but it is. I mean, so that's fine. I don't think there really is any particular aha moment. Yeah, you might beat yourself up, but ultimately it's not. It's about how you pick yourself up after that really shows that you're committed you know, to what you want to do. It might take longer than you wanted, but you just have to believe it's gonna happen. I can make it happen because I'm me. So yeah. Aha moments, I don't know. I don't think I've experienced any aha moments. What about you, Sergio? If it's something that you really wanted to happen.
Yeah, I have kind of an example of a story for here. I'll switch it back to me. I have an example for a story of committed to the outcome, flexible in the approach. I teach snowboarding, and I was going for my level 3, which is teaching advanced snowboarding, and you get tested on 3 different parts: teaching, riding, and then this thing called pedagogy, which is teaching how to teach, basically. And my outcome was to pass it, obviously, to pass all 3 parts first try. My approach, not so much. I failed the riding part because it's really like expert level riding.
Okay.
But I passed one of the parts the first time. I retook the test, and then the winter was over. So next winter, I get to go for the third part again. When I was going to sign up for it, I hadn't signed up for a couple years because my outcome wasn't to get certified as a level 3. My outcome was to pass the 3 things first try. And I realized that's not actually the outcome. That's just the approach that I wanted to take. And as soon as I realized that my outcome is actually to get certified and I can be flexible in my approach, it doesn't matter if I pass it first try. I can take 4 or 5 years to pass the whole thing because it's a process. A lot of people fail it multiple times. Once I realized that my outcome kind of actually shifted from passing the thing first to actually becoming a certified level 3 and an evaluator so I can certify new instructors. So once that outcome changed, I was able to change the actual approach and be more flexible, and it's easier on myself. If my outcome had been to pass the thing first try and I didn't, I would have beat myself up. If my outcome is to get certified eventually and I only passed one of them, I'm actually moving towards my outcome. So it's actually celebrating versus beating myself up, right? So if you're beating yourself up,
Yeah.
Ariana, about something, maybe you should review what your goal is and more your outcome than the approach. Maybe you didn't get the steps you wanted to achieve, but you probably moved towards your outcome. So that's
Hmm.
just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. She actually posted a comment, and I'm gonna point this out. Figure skating, really, that's it's not easy. So the fact that you even want to do that, it's completely amazing. Somehow this relates. I used to ice skate, and I was thinking of my coaches were like, "Oh yeah, you should try for figure skating." Keep in mind, I was like 10, so that I wasn't like, "Yeah, I want to." Be at the Olympics eventually. I was just like, hey, this is fun. I like doing it. But considering that sort of thing, it's just like you cannot beat yourself up over if you don't, hit a certain goal. Like, I mean, there are days, certain moves are going to be totally easy, and you go back next week or you go back a couple days later, and they're not. And it's just it's a process. Anything, especially like with figure skating, and I'm going to relate it back to musical theater because I can. But I mean, like with my lessons, like I said, even if it's once a week or twice a week. Yeah, I did. Sometimes doing a song that I practice on one day goes amazing. Like, it's a great day. Everything's coming out how it's supposed to. I can go back, like 3 days later or a week later, and it's not on point. And let me tell you, that was the case yesterday. Hadn't done the song in about a week, and not the best it's ever come out. And that's okay. I mean, I definitely did beat myself up for about half an hour. But then I was like, you know what? Beating myself up is not gonna make me a better singer or a better performer. It's just gonna get me in my own head more. And ultimately, that's the thing, if you set up goals and you don't necessarily accomplish them the first time, there's still more time for it. But beating yourself up, you're getting in your own head. You're getting literally in your own way by going, even a minuscule thought of, oh God, I didn't do it. What if I can't do it? Is just gonna throw your whole momentum off. And it's so easy to think like that when you're, trying to, get a certain, sort of achieve a certain level, or do this one certain thing in like a lesson, or you absolutely have to get like that 100% on a test. It really applies to anything. And it's just if it doesn't happen, just be happy with the results that you have, because at least you're progressing in some way. So that's all you can. Even if you're not achieving that goal at a certain point in time, you have to go, well, you know what, I'm progressing, even if it doesn't seem like it. If it becomes easier to pick myself up, or it becomes easier to look at whatever I didn't achieve in a certain way and readjust and go, okay, there's always next time, there's always next week, there's always whenever the next thing is, that shows progress. Not going, oh, why can't I do it? Is this ever going to happen? That is pretty tough. And it's easy to fall into. But it sounds so cliched to go, oh, it's just about, oh, well, I did this one small thing, so that's progress. But it is. If it's something you couldn't do the week beforehand, or even that is progress. And, that's really what kind of embracing the unexpected is about. You just, things are gonna happen in life, and maybe they're not gonna go your way. Maybe it's gonna be a different outcome than you expected. That doesn't mean it's the wrong outcome. It just means it's an outcome, and you have to just go, okay, am I progressing? Yes, fantastic. I'm gonna keep progressing. Am I not? Okay, what can I do to make progress? And it's so simple, but that's what it's about. Mickey, okay, I'm reading the question. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we'll read it out loud so that the people watching
Okay, Mickey asked, said and asked, picking yourself up after many falls can be really hard. Do you have any suggestions as to take yourself out of a big slump? Honestly, I think considering the community that we have, the whole GYLS community, that in itself can really help. Just talk with someone that you're really close to, a coach that really inspired you and that maybe you're still in contact with. The best thing I can suggest is just not, keeping it bottled up. That's the worst thing. If you're in a slump, talk with people. That's the best thing you can do, because you gotta do it. Maybe they'll be like, it's fine. But ultimately, I found having support from GYLS and just from friends is the easiest thing to get me out of a slump. So I'd say that. Well, that's, personally on. Anything, I feel like it just depends on the person. If you feel really fantastic when you're like exercising or out for a run or listening to music, or you have, that one favorite book or that one favorite movie that, just it makes you feel like the happiest person ever, then, read that, watch that, listen to that song, listen to that, CD, run, go exercise, whatever it is that makes you feel really, really good. That's what you should do if if you're in a slump. And maybe you won't, automatically feel 100%, but your brain and your body are gonna, know that this makes you happy. So it might seem slow, but ultimately you will feel better if you do this. I just, like, for me, if I'm not feeling too good after a certain day, I might watch a movie, but knowing me, I will probably just crank up some tunes and just start dancing around like a crazy person. Probably totally annoying the neighbors by my. That's the cost of me being happy neighbors, so I am a little sorry. Just, it's whatever, really, there's no set way of, oh, this is just, find what makes you happy and do it. I mean, it's just, again, sounds completely cliched, but it does work. Okay, hold on. Jose, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Jose Veloso? Tell me I'm saying that right.
Well, it's totally just Josh, but yeah, either way. Josh.
Okay, Overachiever here. Hi. What do you do if things keep on coming up and getting in the way of your goals? No matter what you do, unexpected things keep on coming up and really stunt your development towards your goal. Um, yeah, that's not an easy thing to deal with at all. I say this as I'm laughing, so yeah, sorry about that. Um, I don't really, God, that's definitely, I don't, there's no set way of dealing with that. Honestly, I just think you have to keep in mind, what you want to achieve and what your goal is. And, it may be, this is gonna sound totally hippie child, but hey, my parents were, teenagers and stuff in that era. So, I'm allowed to be a little bit of a flower child. It's just, and now I totally forgot the flower child comment. Oh well. It's, things are gonna get in the way of your goal. Maybe it's, the universe being, trying to see how much endurance you have going, do you want this? Do you really want this? Prove it. And, that happens sometimes. It's not always fun, but thank you, Rachel, for that. um, Things are gonna get in the way of your goals. I mean, that's why they're goals. We don't choose goals because they're easy. We choose them because we want to grow. And that's what it's about. It's about personal growth. So, if you keep getting knocked down, it sounds ridiculous, but that's what you have to do. Ultimately, if you want to achieve that goal, you can't let anything get in the way of it. I mean, okay, if it's like maybe illegal or something, you probably shouldn't try to achieve that goal a lot, but that's on the extreme end of things. But just, things are going to push you down if it's people or if it's, your own words or there's or circumstances or situations or oh, maybe you didn't get that job interview that first time. Does that mean that you're gonna stop interviewing for jobs? No, it means you're gonna find a different way of approaching that situation. Still the same goal, maybe just a different way of approaching it. Completely like what Sergio said. And I'm actually blanking on the quote he said like 5 minutes ago, so that's brilliant. But it really is, it's just you have to have the goal, and if you have to adjust the way you get there, then you adjust.
Committed,
There's
committed to the
hmm?
outcome, flexible in the approach.
Yes.
And I don't know
Hashtag
who
that.
said that. I can't quote anyone, but we might actually be able to quote Carolyn. Like, I feel like she made that up. If anyone made it up, it's her, but who knows?
Okay, so quote by. um, yeah, it's setbacks are hard, but it's just you. If you really want it, you will find a way of achieving that goal, or you will find a way of getting that job, going to that school, having that career. I just said that twice. That's job, career, same thing. Just you have to find whatever makes you passionate about that thing and just focus on that because I mean there are going to be hindrances. It's life. That sort of stuff happens. So it's just I wish I had like some, epic knowledge and wisdom to impart to you guys about this, or like, there's a set way of doing it, but there's not because every person's going to be different about it. And really, the only advice I can really give you is, you know, if things aren't exactly going your way, just still focus on that goal. That is the most important thing you can do is focus on that goal and maybe readjust the way you get there. And, don't beat yourself up. You are enough. That is without a doubt the most true comment on this earth. So, yeah, that's, I guess that's what I have to say about that. So,
That's awesome. For you guys watching, if you have any more questions, now's the time.
yes.
Let me see. Yeah, I was going to say something actually. Talking about embracing the unexpected, basically the only thing you can be sure of is that things are going to change. Like the world is constantly changing. So, like I said before, that same quote, being committed to the outcome, you shouldn't even you should obviously have a plan for how you're going to get there, but know almost for sure that that plan is going to hit detours. And so instead of like not even realize I'm trying to think of how I want to word this very carefully, but you should almost like anticipate them before they even come, like the detours, so that you're ready for knowing like, okay, this is my plan and I'm going to do this. If it doesn't work, I already have a backup to do it also. Are there questions? I think there are. Way
Okay,
to go,
okay.
Jose.
It's reloading. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. Don't let your lunch burn. That's not good, guys. We'll make you actually put a quote in the comments, which is find what makes you happy and do it, and that is very true when it comes to this.
Awesome.
Lunch is important, guys. Don't let your lunch burn. I think that's what we can take out of this.
Yeah, Jose. All right. So,
If there are any more questions at all, guys, now's the time.
hmm. Yeah, I think we're good. We had a lot
Okay.
of interaction with this one, which was awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you
we
everyone
did.
for coming live. For all of you who were watching after, hopefully you guys got some value. We only have, I think, one more momentum session spot open. So if you want to do it, take it. It's yours for the taking.
Yeah. And if there are any more questions on the actual like video post that I did, I will totally answer those. But they are most likely not going to get answered in any more of the video. So also, guys, if you haven't gotten your youth leader applications in, please do that. I heard that they're going to start trying to make decisions next week, so they really should be in. So to all my fellow alumni who want to be youth leaders, go get that. If you want to do it, if you want to, be considered as a youth leader, step up, get the application in. Please get that in.
Awesome. All right, guys. We will see you guys all next week with another momentum session.
Thanks, guys.